Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the second day of Global Green Destinations Days online conference. We hope you enjoyed the opening session yesterday, and the recordings are available right now via the GGDD20 homepage as an extra button. Today we also upload the session presentations there, so you'll be able to find them back if you are looking for them. We provide them in PDF after we received all the PDFs from the presenters. Today we have two very interesting sessions. Redefining Tourism Success, moderated by our colleague from Finland, Pekka Aloajärvi. And after the break, we continue with Reducing Our Climate Impact, moderated by Gabriel Minas. So let's get started right away. Now giving the floor to our first session host, Pekka Aloajärvi.
Thank you, Hugo. I was invited to host this session, and perhaps I just introduce myself at the beginning. So I'm the representative of Green Destinations in Finland. I also wish you morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are at the moment, dear participants in our vulnerable globe. As I was invited as the host, so I think that I could start with the structure and outline of this session. We will have 5 presentations. Each of them we have reserved 10 minutes time for the presentations and 2 minutes for questions and answers. The questions should be written as chats, and they will be collected by the Green Destination support staff. And I also remind that the microphones are being kept muted during the presentations. And
Pekka, if you can share your webcam so we can see you as well. Thank you.
I thought that No. Are you sure, Hugo?
Yeah.
Hugo, are you serious that you want to see me? All right. I
like to see the talking head.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We have 5 speakers, and the first one is Masaru Takayama, and he's speaking about the motivating government of all sizes to become green destinations. Number 2 will be Joanne Chang, and it will be a case study of Sun Moon Lake, Taiwan. Then the third speaker will be Mrs. Susan Santos de Cardenas, rebuilding tourism in a more sustainable way. The fourth will be in order Luca D'Angelo, and he's having a speech on Dolomiti Paganella Future Lab in northern Italy. And then number 5 is Mrs. Blanka Kovacic, the pure power of nature from Slovenia. After that, we will have a discussion with the panelists or the speakers, and then again, I think that we will have the chats plus the other reactions. The support staff of GD will also give floor to certain participants with very interesting questions, and preferably such questions which we will involve all the speakers to answer the same questions. And then I will close the session in the end. So I would like to ask the first speaker, Masaru Takayama, to start, and a very short introduction about Masaru is that he is the founding chairperson of the Asian Ecotourism Network, and he's also the representative of Green Destination in Japan. The floor, or I would say the ski is on you, please.
Thank you, Pekka-san. And I hope you can see my screen now.
Yeah.
Can anyone confirm me? Okay, thank you. Good day to everyone in the globe, wherever you are, and konbanwa for the Japanese viewers. I'm talking about motivating government of all sizes to become green destinations in Japan. Oops, what did I do? Okay. I have to go back to 2005 in order to touch on my topic today, which Japan had the sustainable tourism destination status just developed this year. Going back to 2005, I had a chance to found Japan Ecolodge Association. I don't know if you know this association. We were actually the MAC member of the UNWTO member for Sustainable Tourism program. This is a 2006 picture at AGM. Of course, we had more hair and black hair to speak. So we are one of the early adopters of sustainable tourism. We did have the certification scheme from the engaged partner level to 3 different stages of the certification, depending on the achievement of the lodges from 50, 70 to 90%. And we had also, so to speak, a Bible of the International Ecolodge Guideline developed by Hides Mehta of Kenya, USA, Ana Baez from Costa Rica, and of course, Paul. And so we were able to use this and translate it into Japanese in order to promote the authentic eco-lodging industry based in Japan. And in the scope of this association, I think GSTC came into place in 2008, and I think 2010 formally launched as an organization. But we were also engaged with them from the very beginning. In 2012, December, our standard was already in compliance with the GSTC standard, and we got the first recognition in Asia. And as you can see, this is a copy of GSTC screen, but I said that the 7 years that took us to promote the authentic industry based in Japan, but faced many difficulties and had limited resources. As you can imagine, no one really wanted to disclose what the lodge owners are doing, including the back of the kitchen, those times. And we were a very small NGO, and we didn't have the credibility of the transparency and credentials in order to really promote the industry to the Japanese marketplace. And later in 2014, I had become Ecotourism Japan's board of director, and one of my main projects was to support the development of for sustainable tourism. So this has become the main project for Ecotourism Japan for 5 years. We have 47 prefectures, like a state in Japan, of which every prefecture we have representatives in ecotourism Japan. I was one of them based in Kyoto. And we had this project supported by UNWTO Asia Pacific Regional Office from the very beginning in 2014, which they are located in Nara. As we go along, we had annual sustainable tourism forums, which was helped injected about 350,000 euros over 5 years, thanks to Japan Fund for Global Environment, which is affiliate organization of the Ministry of Environment Japan. So we did have 5 different locations to launch this annual event, starting from 2015 in Kumano for the pilgrimage route, the World Heritage, 2016 in Gunma National Park, 2017 in Senboku Akita is also a lake forestry area, Nagasaki 2018, the first geopark and national park in Japan, and United Nations University in Tokyo in 2019. So all this we have compiled into hundreds of pages of reports, which are made available to download for free as an open source. The top left photo shows the 3 mayors signed the Declaration on Sustainable Tourism for Development, and of course the tallest person is the Albert there. So we have invited the international speakers, including the Mr. Tegu from Indonesia, Minister of Tourism in charge of GSTC. We had Ana Baez from Costa Rica. We also had the CEO of GSTC, Randy. We also had Yana from Slovenia, of course, and Dr. Mihikan from Korea as the GSTC Asia Pacific Director. So all this funding made us capable of learning what's happening in the international trends. And 2017, of course, the International Year of Sustainable Tourism took place, and Japan Tourism Agency held the symposium with UNWTO. I think it was 2 locations. And the following year, Policy Research Institute for Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport, and Tourism issued a report which made up with a lot of the interviews done through our team. And Japan has been focusing on the manufacturing, like cars and ships, and not much tourism. So the ministry, we don't have the Ministry for Tourism, but only the Director General of the Japan Tourism Agency. But what they have done is that they conducted this research for 2 years, releasing 2 versions, of which one is 147 and another is 202 pages. So these policy recommendations really made the government understand what sustainable tourism should be and how it should be implemented on the ground. Recommendations including consider not only the economy, but also environment and local communities. Consider other stakeholders, including locals, environmental NGOs, SMEs, and tourism practitioners. Consider the host destination's feelings, how satisfied with the visitors. I'm sure you all know by now what it means to you all in your green destinations. And 2018 June, we had this promotion council established within the Japanese tourism agency. We couldn't believe that it really took place, and we were actually in South Korea for the GSTC meeting. And I can still remember freshly that how happy that we were. And I think really made a difference was the political will, because Japan hosted the G20, if you remember. And we also had a tourism minister meeting in Hokkaido in the north. They came up with a declaration on advancing tourism contribution to the SDGs. So that is one of the declarations, but followed by managing tourism for the benefit of visitors and local communities, enhancing the role of innovation and making good use of the digital transformation to advance sustainable tourism. So all these were in the declaration that Japan also signed, as well as 19 other countries. And this year in August, last year in August, JTA created a working group on sustainable tourism destination indicators, which I was also on the committee. And this was with the focus to remedy the situation of over tourism Of course, with the COVID-19, it's kind of hard to feel what is now, but we were really damaged by the over-tourism in some parts of Japan. And
Dear
this is June.
Masaru, you have only
Yes.
1 or 2 minutes time left.
Yes, I'm counting. I got 1 minute and 30 seconds. Thanks. And JTA released the Sustainable Tourism Standard for Destinations, which is made available online and free to download for the Japanese readers at the moment, jointly issued by UNWTO Japan office, which include the green destinations. So this was my thing. And top 100 and other award schemes also included here. So we learned how this green destination really works in the guidebook that we issued. And from now on, this year, JTA hosting at the moment 5 destinations to conduct the GSTC training. We did last week in Kyoto. This was one I took, and my team with the 20+ participants. And then you must have seen that we had the 5 cities and towns that made it to top 100 yesterday, thanks to their effort and green destinations. We can see that on a global level that we are really working hard. Japan is very competitive in tourism. We have the tourism booster elements, good climate, nature, culture, and food. So I want to come to the end by saying that we have this SDG Support Center launching next year. And as you see at the center, AEN is a supporting member of the Top 100. AEN, we are organizing 2022, February, first International Ecotourism Travel Month, followed by a workshop and forum. So please go to ecotourismtravelmonth.com. So thank you for your attention, and I'm open for questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Masaru. The problem is that we are running a bit or already late in time. So please, participants, send your questions by chat, and we will discuss these issues with Masaru in the beginning of the panel. Now I think we will have to move to the next presentation, but I really thank you, Masaru. Most interesting, and definitely there will be questions to you. Okay, so it seems that Chang will be the second in the road. So the floor is yours. 10 minutes, please.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Joanne from Taiwan. I'm presenting for Summer Lake, and this is Ocean Lin, our coordinator at Summer Lake. We will be taking together question together. Today, I'm talking about developer sustainability in troubled times. So first, hold on. So, okay. Did you see? Okay. So first, this is southeast at Taiwan. So Summer Lake is in the middle of Taiwan in Nantou. As we all know, international travel for tourism has become very difficult in 2020 because of COVID-19. But let's look at the number of Summer Lake and see how difficult. Before 2020, average 8,200 people visit Summer Lake every day. But since April, just between 18 to 66 international visits to Summer Lake. In April 2020, only 2,194 Taiwanese people coming. We have been hugely impacted. According to survey, the most impact are tourism, leisure, food and beverage, retail and public transport industries. No people no cash flow, no cultural exchange. Which one do you choose? Economic conservation. Who will promote sustainable tourism when everyone is trying to survive during the pandemic crisis? In time of extreme uncertainty, we still believe that only by practicing sustainability in life can have more people to be aware of the sustainable development of tourist destinations and willing to participate active. There are three key factors. Cluster effect. Group cancel the order. Most tourists only travel short distance and just stay one night. So we try another way. First, we address safety concerns for visit. Publish pandemic prevention schedules. We cooperate with local government safety hotel measures. So far, 227 out of 826 countrywide are inspected and certified. Small and family group, 2 to 4%, becomes the mainstream trade. We think starting with a little thing makes sustainability a big thing. We start doing this. Focus on small group promotion. Now we promotion 20 programs to everyone. We hope visitors will have fun by cultural experience on farm village. B, continue with environment improvement, especially cooperation with CUGSTC certified hotel to clean pond activities. Last week, we just cleaned 63 kilograms, 80 of which was recyclable. So finally, this picture was 38th swimming carnival in Summer Lake at last week. 20,000 people completed the challenge. They wear masks immediately when they go ashore. Those 2 days have made Summer Lake quick busy. So what do you think? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joanne. Very interesting presentation. Okay. We could take one question to her. Are there questions in the chat for her?
No, Pekka, I don't see any questions coming up right now for Joanne.
Okay, thank you. Then we continue with the next presentation. Thank you, Joanne.
Yeah.
All right. Susan Santos de Cardenas is already waiting. She's the president and CEO of the Society for Sustainable Tourism, and she works actively in selected Asian countries. And I think that soon we will hear about two examples, what you do in the Philippines and also in Indonesia. The floor or the screen is yours, dear Susan.
Thank you very much, Pekka. Good evening to all. Good evening from Jakarta, Indonesia. Good afternoon or good day, wherever you are. Thank you very much for the invitation, Green Destinations organizers. It is my honor and pleasure to be here with you and share with you some experience of what's happening or what's going on in the Philippines and Indonesia. So as of the moment, the reset or the rethinking is to rebuild tourism in a more sustainable way and make tourism recovery green for Southeast Asia. Before the virus, the Southeast Asia ecosystems were buckling under over-tourism. When the tourists return, it has to be different. The global pause on tourism has offered destinations an unprecedented opportunity to examine how to rebuild their tourism industries in a way that benefits their economies and also the planet. Opportunity amidst crisis in the Philippines. The COVID-19 pandemic has heavily affected the local tourism industry. Travel restrictions put in place to control the further spread of the virus resulted in a sudden drop in travel demand, severe loss of revenues, and unemployment across all tourism enterprises. Despite the travel restrictions, Filipino travel sentiments indicate that domestic leisure travel will lead the recovery of tourism. The Philippine Travel Survey Report. Last June 2020, the Department of Tourism, in collaboration with Guide to the Philippines and the Asian Institute of Management, Dr. Andrew Tan Center for Tourism, produced the Philippine Travel Survey as its way of offering support to the tourism and hospitality industry. As they shared with us what was discovered about Filipino travelers' behaviors, sentiments, and expectations on domestic travel's new normal, based on almost 13,000 respondents across 81 provinces in the Philippines. It was found out in this survey that domestic leisure travel will lead the recovery of the Philippine tourism. Leisure travel will still remain to be the primary reason for traveling, and of those expecting to travel once restrictions are lifted, most expect their first trip to be vacations, and visiting friends will come second. %77% are willing to travel even in the absence of vaccines. So 48% expect to travel domestically within 6 months from lifting of travel restrictions. Top travel activities still include going to the beaches, road trips and staycations, visiting or museums or cultural tourist spots, traveling solo or backpacking, taking an eco or farm tour, or doing outdoor activities. There will be no more mass tourism. Majority feel safer doing activities with limited exposure to crowds. Staying in a hotel or resort, traveling solo, or going on private tours are considered safest among the shortlisted activities. On the other hand, going on shared tours, attending sports events, or joining conventions, all of which involve crowd exposure, are considered the least safe. So what does this imply for tourism products and services and suppliers and the industry in general? Everybody must focus on personalized, engaging, story-rich experiences. They must review and recalibrate the value proposition and adapt to the changes with the preference of the target market and the realities of the new normal. The cookie cutter offerings are not sufficient anymore. They must focus on personalized, engaging, and story-rich, as well as technology-driven tourism products, which would have added value. The top 10 domestic destinations are the usual beaches and nature parks or natural sites, and some of which we have already even assessed last year for the sustainable community-based tourism recognition, wherein we are also inviting them to join the top 100 sustainable by next year. It's still a work in progress, of course. But the Philippine Domestic Tourism Recovery Survey results show that over-tourism is the old norm. Inclusive tourism will be the new normal. Health and safety protocols will not be compromised, and adoption to technology is a must. The first Philippine private green destination that we were able to enlist at least last year was Club Paradise, and we are happy to announce that they were finalists to Top Sustainable 100 this year. What about Indonesia?
Could you change the stuff?
The governor. Hello, yes, can you hear me? Yeah, the governor, along with the regents, mayors in Bali, have agreed to carry out productive and safe community activities in these trying times, gradually, selectively, and in a limited manner by implementing the new life order protocol. You have to understand that Bali used to be the over-tourism capital of Indonesia. It was just a capital of congestion for tourism and traffic, and all that was already eliminated by this time. So they would like to implement what they call the sustainability measures during these trying times. And implementation of tourists entering Bali requires a conducive situation and sound preparation. The province of Bali also, along with the rest of the society, had been working and moving together according to the directions and policies of the central government. And they have achieved good results in controlling the spread of the pandemic with moderate new positive cases, high recovery rate, relatively low fatality rate, an opportunity to reevaluate the tourism and implement policies and encourage domestic travel to restart and recover the sector. So what were the stages and actions taken? The first and second stages of activities were limited to local and domestic tourists only from July 2020. The evaluation results showed that these stages did not create an increase in cases nor new cluster areas. For the third stage of the new life order protocol, Bali has still not opened to foreign tourists, as was planned for September 11. Following the order of the central government, they have decided to still close Bali until the end of 2020. This is in response or just a reciprocative action wherein also some countries have prevented their people to go to Indonesia. So therefore, Indonesia also declared that they will close to the foreigners. So what is the new normal for Bali tourism from the point of view of Bali tour operators? Again, they have agreed, and the consensus was that no more mass tourism. Quality tourism is the new normal, where visitors can experience the destination and sustainable tourism. Health and hygiene must be guaranteed at every location, and all certifications to tourism partners must be accepted worldwide. And they have this Trihita Karana philosophy of the Balinese or the Hindu philosophy, that they should travel according to, with harmony with God, people, nature, and environment. Until the end of 2020, the Bali provincial government will optimize efforts to bring domestic tourists only in order to restore tourism and economy. Bali has the potential to come back stronger in a global industry, according to the Bali Hotels and Restaurants Association. It is not new to them that they are not new, rather, to disasters. They had their share of natural disasters, volcano, tsunami, or what have you. and even some terrorism way back. But they were able to show the world an outstanding capacity for resilience and renaissance throughout the hard times. For Indonesia, they also want to avoid the over-tourism already. So therefore, they prioritize top 10 new destinations to avoid mass tourism and veer more towards quality tourism. They want to practice sustainable tourism, wherein they adopted the GSTC criteria since 2016. They now want to focus on local communities, cultural heritage, and natural assets protection. They want to showcase sustainable practices being implemented by hotels and restaurants in the fields of health, energy, waste management, using international criteria or standards. That is why we were able to partake in the Indonesia Sustainable Tourism Awards, wherein they also submitted some winners to the Green Destinations Top 100 Sustainable, and some of them were able to qualify also. So the Indonesia Sustainable Tourism Awards seek green destination certification. That is what we're also working on in here. And they have top 10 priority destinations that they will work on, and hopefully would be also benefiting from green destination standards. Well, as for our work here, it was work interrupted this year. The Green Destinations Days in Manila and Davao were canceled 2 times. Last year because of the earthquakes in the Philippines, and this year because of the COVID. But we are still moving on that until further notice. However, soon we will also have our Green Destinations Philippines webinar in October 22 in Manila time. Thank you very much for your attention. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Susan. I think that we have to do with you, as with Masaru earlier, that we collect the questions and we start the panel with the questions to Masaru and you. But
no problem.
Thank you for understanding.
Sure.
But I would like to ask the next speaker to be prepared and start his presentation. So it will be Mr. Luca D'Angelo, and he's the, how would I say, the development person, an expert for Dolomiti Paganella. The floor is, or the screen is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. And it's really a pleasure for me to share this opportunity with all these destinations around the world. And good afternoon, of course, from Italy, from the Dolomites. I have only 10 minutes, so I really have to squeeze this amazing, incredible project that we are running. And it's been a year, so I should go really fast, but of course, I'm available for questions later on. Okay, so first of all, I hope you can see my presentation and where we are. We are in northern Italy, as I told you. We're in the Alps, in this region called Trentino Alto Adige. We are a small destination inside the Alps, very small, only 5 municipalities, so 5 different villages with 5,000 inhabitants. But what is really incredible when you count overnight stays. Per year, we get almost 2 million overnight stays. So just these numbers give you an idea on the pressure that tourism gets on our destination. It's really an alpine destination focused on winter season, but also on summer season. It's actually quite peculiar that we get more flows of tourists in summer comparing to winter. This is quite peculiar in the Alps. But these are numbers, of course, from 2019, so pre-COVID. Pre-COVID was the scenario when we started the Dolomiti Paganella Future Lab, and we started with these questions. The question was really simple. Shall we stop and think about the future of our destination, that now that all the indicators, all the data that we have also the revenue that the stakeholders are doing are really good. Is that the right moment to stop and think about the future destination that we want, how we can get involved our community? So that was the beginning of this incredible journey called the Dolomiti Paganella Future Lab. And it started basically like this, as a research intervention think tank on the future of our destination. For the first time, we want to involve also the stakeholders, not only the stakeholders, sorry, but also for the first time, all the community, all the 5,000 inhabitants. And we started the research focusing on 4 pillars, or 4 what we call tough questions. The tough questions are this one, are basically 4 again. The first one is related to our DNA. So basically who we are now, what is our destination DNA right now, and who we want to be in the future. Should be the same? Should we evolve? The second tough question is related to a new generation. Our tourist destination is basically a family-run business destination. That means that all the hoteliers are run by families, but from locals. So the role of the new generation is even more important. How we can involve these young guys and girls in co-creating our destination in the future. And the third,
Luca, just for a second.
Yeah.
It's still your first slide of the presentation, so we only see that one.
Okay, sorry, because I can see more. I was running through.
Yeah, you're saying really great things, so I think it's also nicer if we can follow the presentation. Thank you.
But I was sharing the screen. Can you see now?
Yeah.
The 4 questions?
Yep.
Okay. So I'll be back. I'll start from number 3. I guess you hear me. And so the question number 3 was related to climate change. And of course, we are in the Alps, so we feel the climate change, the climate crisis is really strong, especially winter. But we want to look at climate change, also see if we can look some opportunity in that, and also how we can understand how we can thrive in the future shaped by climate change. And the 4 tough question is related to, it's basically one common, that making common all the other 3 dimensions, how we can create a more sustainable and balanced form of tourism, where we can balance the visitors, our natural environment, and of course, our community. So these are the 4 tough questions that we are working on. And we started all the methodology of this big laboratory with a kickoff event in one of the villages, where we had for the first time more than 700 attendees from the community. Remember that we are only 5,000 inhabitants, so it was the end of October. It was really a great success for us. It was the first time that we got so many people for 3 hours sharing ideas and launching the idea of the Future Lab. And then we organized more than 15 sessions of workshops with around 140 stakeholders, almost 2.5 hours working with each of them. So it was really tough work, a lot of data, a lot of ideas, a lot of projects with them. We started
sorry, Luca. I think that's who is managing the slide series, because it's still.
I am.
You are, please.
But I don't know what's happening, because I'm running through this. I can see the slides and running through. Maybe you can see like this. Just give me okay. I will keep it like this if you can see it. I don't know. It's not the best.
Yeah, this is a winter tourist survey. Almost 1,000. Okay, now. Yeah, now it changed.
Okay.
Yep. Good.
Keep it like. I know it's not the best, but at least you can follow the slide as well. Sorry about that. It was working before.
Yeah.
And so it was the workshop, and we started a winter tourist survey with almost 1,000 interviews. We were in touch with tourists, asking them not just about customer satisfaction as usual, but asking them questions related to our 4 tough questions. So climate change, the way they see the travel in the future. And also we designed something quite unique, we believe, in this kind of project. So we are shooting a full-length documentary, because our goal is to leave something that will survive the time to the whole community. So we don't want to leave just a report, we don't want to leave just paper, we want to leave also a documentary that follows all the project and that follows how the community is changing during this big project. But then suddenly, it was just everything before COVID, and then COVID came. And we were quite shocked, as everybody. In Italy, lockdown was really strong, but it was the chance for us to reframe the project. And actually, we discovered that the pillars that we have used at the beginning, they were even stronger right now and during COVID, and they will be even more after COVID. And we discovered also that we could use, and also the community was using the Future Lab as basically a lighthouse for the future, to having a direction for the future. So we said we couldn't stop, we have to go on. And that's why we started a new methodology. We had this very important survey with the young generation. It was online during the survey. And I am now able to share with you some results about the Future Lab. And of course, these results are related to this new mission that the project has been. So basically, we are using the destination development as a means to build a better and more resilient community, to keep it for a future of both opportunities and crises. So this new mission is really strictly related to what happened and what is still happening with the COVID pandemic. Some intermediate result. Well, basically what we have discovered so far, the project is not finished, and I will show you in a second. We have discovered that tourism is a part of the community DNA. Basically, all the destination, all the community, all the area, it's really, it works around the tourism, is related to tourism here. But sometimes we have discovered that we give more service to tourists and less to the community. So sometimes we have discovered that the community, especially on the shoulder season, they felt on the second stage. The new generation are really looking for space. So they want to take the stage, they want to be active, they want to say the word, they want to participate to the community. And we need to do that. Otherwise, we're risking them to leave and to choose other territory, other cities, or whatever. We need their energy as well. Climate change. Again, we need to look at climate change also as an opportunity. I know this is strong, but as a small destination, we can't change all the climate change, but we can still work for using, basically working on the shoulder season, working on spring, working on autumn, and still considering that winter will be really affected by the climate change in the Alps. We basically want to design a destination that's season-free. Basically, it's not related to just summer and winter, but it works basically 12 months per year. And we discovered that we need, there is an urgence for a different balance. In the future, we need to create a reciprocal commitment between the community, between the visitor, asking them to act more sustainable, also working a lot around mobility. This has been a big issue for us. Mobility inside the destination and mobility outside, so to come in the destination. Basically, the main goal here is to work to complete the transition from a tourism-dependent destination to a tourism-powered destination. This is a strong, basically, goals that we have with the Future Lab. We have also learned some lessons so far. We don't have the final results, again, as I told you at the beginning, but we have learned some lessons. We have learned that as a DMO, so as a destination management organization, I didn't mention, but I am the director of the DMO here in Dolomiti Paganella, we feel the responsibility to lead this holistic transformation. This is a very complicated process. It's something that we need to balance with the local municipalities, with the politicians, with the private stakeholders, but we feel the responsibility that we are the right tool. We can act as a tool for the destination. If you want to start a transformation, you need the new generation on board. You need to have the youngers to stay with you, to work, to write some new project, especially around the innovation. we are really working strong on designing a new vision. We need to design a common set of strong values, be it on what we have found in research, be it on our DNA as a community, and we need to look at the future in a different way. As a team of researchers, as a team of involved in this project, we, especially during COVID, we changed a lot of time, our schedule. So be ready to change, be flexible, and be ready to adopt also new plans. Sharing. We are sharing our project with a lot of people inside the destination, with all of them. I will show you in a second, but also we're trying to sharing this project all around the world, of course, what is possible for us, and thanks also today for the invitation. The journey is still long, but we are really exciting to every day that goes on to arrive to the final part of the Future Lab. What is missing basically here, this is another important point, so I forgot to mention. We organized just 2 weeks ago what we call a New Generation Day. We gather around 50 youngest from the destination. They work with us for almost 3 hours with new ideas, try to solve some problems, and try to see themselves as a key role in the destination for the future. It was really, really a passionate afternoon in one of our huts in the mountains, and it was the first time that we gathered so many youngs in our destination. And so,
Luca, I think that you have to present the final words. Yeah, good.
Last slides. Yeah. Really last slides. The project is not finished yet. We share all the results with our community. We're working on a summer tourist survey, but what will be the end will be the creation of a manifesto and a documentary specifically, as I told you, and a project catalog related to climate change and to the balance of tourism in our destination. So thanks a lot. Sorry for the trouble with the presentation.
Thank you, Luca. It was very encouraging and a positive, how would I say, speech you had. But unfortunately, I won't have any questions to you in this stage, because we have to move to the last presentation, and we take also the questions to you when during the panel. Thank you. Yes, the next speaker is Mrs. Blanka Kovacic. She is the CEO of the Institutes for Tourism and Sustainable Development of Solčavska region in Slovenia. The screen is yours.
Thank you very much, everybody. Hello from Slovenia. I'm waiting for my presentation. Okay, so I suppose they will put it on.
Yes, we'll be ready in 2 seconds.
Thank you very much. That's great. So once again, hello, and from Slovenia. My presentation for today is called The Pure Power of Nature. I will be talking about redefining tourism success in a pristine alpine lower valley European destination of excellence. I don't know if I can, okay. So probably you want to know where are we. So we are an alpine destination located at the northern tip of Slovenia, bordering to Austria. Now you can see it on the world map. The name of our region is Solčavsko and is a destination of 100 square kilometers with only 540 people living in 3 glacial valleys, in the village called Solčava and the hamlet of Podolšava. We are stuck between 2 mountain ranges. No, you have to go back. I'm not sure why I can I manage with the presentation? Obviously somebody else is managing the presentation, so nevertheless I'm I'm going further. So we're stuck between two mountain ranges, and 80% of our land is protected via Natura 2000. We have two landscape parks. The one you see it on the map is on the presentation is Logar Valley, and we have another one called Robano Côte, and our distinct position is home to highland farms with the approximate size of 150 hectares, biggest one measuring 750 hectares. You can move to slide 5. Slide 5. Okay, so what is our issue? We live in a pristine environment for centuries now, 6th century if I'm more precise, and we never had no industry, so there's no heavy industry. We're only surrounded with forests and flower meadows. The only life we know is a sustainable one, as we were integrated into an infrastructure with the first road built only in the beginning of the 20th century. So we live a normal farmer's life with mainly animal breeding and forest maintenance. Since we're so unique in these and the proximity of the mountains, we were the first we were the destinations for the mountaineers and people who wanted to enjoy the hiking in the mountains. Because of the remoteness on one side, our ancestors developed a lot of knowledge that Mother Nature gives us, and this kind of living with nature was a big heritage for all the people living here. There are also written proofs of how people heal themselves with nature and all the remedies they have from nature and for their well-being. Even today, doctor is 1 hour drive away. So on one hand, we have this tradition, and on the other hand, the nowadays trends in sustainable tourism. Can you move a slide? So our issue is how to combine tradition with modern tourism. As I told you, one thing is what we learned in the past and trends in tourism today, which is with remoteness, inner selves, and how to combine these two. Can you move the slide? How to shift the focus from, no, leave it on second. How to shift the focus from quantity to quality. Definitely in our nature, which is protected more or less the whole destination. We don't want mass flocks to our landscape parks, but we would like to offer people who come here high quality services. You can move the presentation. No, the third one. One back. Yes, how to invite, next one, how to invite, no.
Blanka, you can also now use your own mouse control to control the PowerPoint.
Okay, let me try. No. It seems I cannot move.
Maybe it's delayed.
Sorry?
Maybe it's delayed because of the internet.
Okay. Let's see. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. These are the photos. How have we combined tradition with modern tourism and shift focus from quantity to quality? You can see we're quite remote, and you can always find a lot of place for yourself, because normally in this vast area we only get, I don't know, 50 to 100 to 200 people. So there is really a lot of space in nature for everybody. Our integral tourist product, which is called the Pure Power of Nature, is giving a big respect of nature and the tradition of the environment. We still want to have the contact with the preserved nature and cultural identity of the environment. So the people who come here, the visitors, knows that. And on the other hand, from this outer world, they can contact with them with the inner self. So this very popular selfness and wellness nowadays, these new words, is a good chance for your body, mind, and inner feelings that they work together. So that means that this Pure Power of Nature, this product, doesn't make you focus on something special, but the program is made like that every part of your body, mind, and inner feelings work together, physical, neutral, and spiritual level of activity. We were redefining the structure of tourists we want to see in our destination, and we found out that a lot of different structures of tourists, almost everybody has some kind of issues that they want to escape to nature. So we made programs. This product is like multifunctional. We have many chances for the program, modular one, which with which we can address the elderly people, the families, the individuals, and they can have this opportunity to escape to nature and tranquility. Participation in green scheme of sustainable tourism is a must for our destination, as I don't really know how to live and work otherwise than sustainable. We have these 2 tourist providers certified with Green Globe and Ecolabel, and as I was telling you, more than 80% of our area is protected, especially this landscape park, which is our pearl. And we are implementing soft mobility. It means that we are encouraging people to use e-transport or public transport to come to our valley and meet our traditional living, which is now a part of our lives for 6 centuries. We're also talking about technology detox, whether you like it or not, but we're so remote that sometimes we even wake up and we don't have the internet. So this is really challenging, and it's like people, it's normal also for the visitors if we tell them that someday they won't be able to use the Wi-Fi. What will this integral tourist product include? So the experience of the basic elements that we have in our destination: earth, water, fire, air, and space, with typical components of the local environment, which is stone. We have a lot of wood, a lot of wool, as we are animal breeding destination, especially sheep, and we have a lot of forest. Due to our life, we really have clean water and soil, which gives us opportunity to have wholesome ecological food of local origin with local spices and herbs. So we can put that on the table for people to enjoy. And these traditional recipes that are here for, I mean, all the time, and modern access, these 2 provides us the utmost unforgettable experience for the visitors and also for local people. You can use varieties of different type of indulging yourself, if I can say it like that, especially because in these COVID times that we have to be aware of not mixing up with other people. So destinations with a lot of greenery, you can use your own space, and we can prepare you a basket like this, and you can enjoy whether it is lunch, dinner, or breakfast. This is some our local food culinary edition, and this traditional knowledge that we have, we combined with holistic approaches that are very modern today: dendrology, geomantics, wild food, plant music, and knife methods. And these 2 tourist providers, they underwent the schooling, which gives us the chance to make the services or put the services to the high quality, with some meditation points, which we measure them by the waterfalls, springs, and special trees, the relaxation points, the energy points, which were measured, described, and marked. And we have a lot of walking and hiking trails. Also, for the people who are keen to do the alpine walks, we also give them an opportunity to go to the mountains with our mountain guides. This product, this is the picture that gives you think or our chance that we can make this product in all 4 seasons that we have here. That is winter, autumn, summer, and spring. And for every season we have different possibilities to actively proceed and to make this program works. And we to strengthen.
Blanka, I think you have to finish very soon.
Yes, I will be. So we prepare special experience of alpine eco-wellness, interpretations of sounds from nature, therapy by listening to plant music, meditations, and different kind of possibilities. Also, if you are not keen to be very active in the destination, you have a lot of chances to be on ease and to do it very easily and not too much active. So with this, what we learn is that the amount of possibilities of natural resources around us and visitor expectations for such products are very high. So we know that we can have a greater offer of services and have an impact on sustainable development of the destinations. And we can teach the visitors about our traditional way of living, our preservance of the nature and respect for it, and they take this with them at home. Here, whether you get the presentation or not, we have made 3 videos about our product. That means in autumn, winter, summer, and all year long. And our results, achievements, and recognitions where we encourage visitors for relaxations, calming the body and mind, connection with cultural and natural environment, where they can identify special energy points that help them to cleanse and connect with nature and with themselves, and complete this experience with Ayurvedic treatment and activities that promote connections with 5 most important elements. This is the product that is called Logar Valley for You. It's integral tourist product made of from 2 tourist providers. And if anyone wants to try it, then everybody, of course, welcome to Sluchowska. Thank you very much. And once again, I'm really sorry for this little mess with the presentations.
Thank you, Blanka. I have to thank you. It was very interesting and positive, and how would I say, the tempting destination you described.
Thank you.
At this stage, we have exceeded the time for the presentation, so I will have to finish the presentations and we move to the panel. And I ask all the speakers to shift their videos on. And I ask kindly Hugo to select the first questions to Masaru.
Yeah, we received really a lot of questions. Thank you, panelists, first of all, for your valuable contributions. And it's really great to see the amount of questions that they provoked. I'm afraid we're not going to be able to discuss them all, but let's try. First, for Masaru, is a question from Nandi Natkami asking, what are your success metrics? Can you explain a little bit more on that? Masaru, please go ahead.
Okay. I don't think we have got to that part yet. I think, in my opinion, it is still at the embryonic stage. That people are getting interested in getting the recognition worldly about engaging their destinations. But I think more importantly, they need to go through at least 30 criteria of the grand destination in order to say that they're really greening their destinations. So I think there are ways to benchmark themselves. because we now have the Japan destination standard as well. So I think what they are going to do is to first make the sustainable tourism master plan for medium and long term period, and that's the start for me. And then of course the like we say, it's a journey, so it will take more time. But what they can do is to follow the step with others in the world, so they can also demonstrate theirs, but also cross learning from other parts of the world is very important, I think.
Hugo, could you take another one to Masaru?
My suggestion is to go first to the other speakers, and then we can see if there's time left, move on to Masaru.
As you like.
Then we have equal time for everyone. So the next question for Joanne is actually coming from Albert. He's asking, what are the targets and how to measure the targets in the case of Sun Moon Lake? Joanne, can you explain maybe a little bit on what targets you use?
Okay, so about the Sun Moon Lake, the target, right?
目标是什么？然后如何量测？
我们的 So now, this year, we usually the target was the safety tourism. So that was the first, yeah. And when we check the 3 factor, the 3 people, the mini tour was the treatment. So now we just promote the 20 program was the first, yeah, for family tour.
And for sustainability, what kind of do you have a certain goal that you want to reach, or do you think you can measure something where you have reached some specific target for sustainability?
确切的永续目标呢？你有没有确切的永续目标？
Want to reduce impacts or
去
不环境永续
便利跟
convenient
的友善
of friendly was first.
what? Sorry.
The first one was friendly tourism for the travel, very convenient was the first one, yeah. And the second one I think was the continue environment to clean and to improvement. That was the second one.
So friendly tourist is what you, one of the most important ones. Yeah. Excellent. So maybe what we can do, Pekka, is to ask the next question for Susan, because we had actually different questions that were actually one big question from 3 people. Coming from Vivian, from Jillian, and from Christy Romer. And it's actually, do you think the pledge to end mass tourism will last even after the world recovers from the pandemic? Susan, do you have any comments on that?
At this point in time, we can very much say that people are really still very cautious. Therefore, I think it will take a long time for, I don't think they will even consider mass tourism anymore. I think mass tourism, or, well, especially the problem was over tourism before. So definitely it's already out of the question. The mass tourism would be some kind of controlled one. Of course, now there's just like dozens of people going, and then probably they'll target to hundreds, but it will still be a controlled one. Unlike before, that it's really uncontrollable. I mean, traffic and overcrowding. Well, that was the problem before, but now it's already a thing of the past. So very cautious, controlled, and then they're looking for quality now, no? And also that will benefit everybody in the community. That's the aim, that's the goal.
So no more over tourism, but controlled mass tourism.
At the long run. For now, it's just like, you know, very, very few tourists at this point in time, really. I mean, well, practically it's not open yet. Not open yet to foreign.
But for the future, after it's open, you
well,
think
as I said, again, controlled. People will be very, very cautious. The main aim is really for health and safety first. So as I said, well, right now, for example, you know, to travel is you require PCR tests, and to take going and coming back, it's kind of hassle. So a lot of people are quite turned off by that, you know, especially groups. So only the daring ones would really, and then so people who would spend also for that, because it's to the passengers or to the guest account, you know, the PCR tests. It's additional expense also. So yeah, it will still be controlled. Maybe a year, I would say.
Let's see. So for Luca from the Dolomites, also a question from Nandi. What are, and it's similar actually, of course, what are the success metrics to evaluate the success of the new tourism strategy? Do you also can reflect on that, on the same question, Luca?
Yeah, again, as I was saying during the presentation, we are not still in the phase where we have defined the new metrics. We're still looking for that. At the moment, as a DMO, when we talk with our stakeholders or in the destination, we try not to present only arrivals and overnight stays. We're trying to look at revenues from the hoteliers. We have a system that we can look how much they earn. It's not just a matter of quantity. And also we're looking at reputation and looking what tourists are saying. For the future, at the end of the Future Lab, basically next year in May, we want also to define new metrics. But for sure, it would be a matter more of quality and not quantity, not exiting from the stress of having the hotels or attraction or lift companies always full in just 2 months in the season. So that's the main goal, what we're trying to achieve. Just everything is compressed now. In winter, just 2 months, in summer, 2 months. What we're trying to do is to spread the flows.
Thank you. And I think as follow-up, it's interesting to ask a question from Monique Chen from Taiwan. It's mostly about, will then the DMO create jobs for the new generations if they're interested in involving the issues or action plans? And that could be considered also one of the metrics, right? The job creations. But for new generations, is that envisioned?
Yeah, well, it's not that we are creating jobs. We're probably trying to create the better condition for new jobs to come and for the new generation to found the space. That's our goal. And the quality of the life of the resident is going to be one of the main metrics. That's, I forgot to mention, but it's really, really important.
Excellent. Maybe we can move one and ask the same question to Blanka. Again, also, do you have looked into the metrics, success factors of the sustainable tourism journey of your destination, and what is that your destination is using?
I would say that first of all, we have to let past drive be a past drive. This is a new era for the tourism, and what we were focusing on is now mainly our home local people and home tourists and tourists from neighbor country. So this is the tourists that we will be addressing in the next year. together with high quality services outdoor. So what we are trying to implement is a lot of activities that they can do by themselves, together with the technology, of course, that they will be using, whether that will be via mobile apps or will be via web pages or the brochures we will give them, so they can experience the amount of services as much as they can and as many as they want to. So focusing on individuals and small groups, that's the main shift, because before that we also had on our destination people who came not in masses but in groups, which is now because all our tourist providers have a room or 2 or 3 between 10 to 15 beds per house. That is that now they have to be aware on how many beds they will give. So in one hand, we have to be aware that the probably the number of the visitors will be lesser, but the amount of the high quality services must be higher. So on one hand, they have a good experience on destination, focusing on the guest.
So you will not use the metrics of quantity, but more of quality, right?
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And high quality services, of course.
Great. Pekka, we have more questions left for Masaru and for Luca. I see some highlighted questions. Shall I go on?
Yes, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
So for Masaru, a question from Ibrahim Diouf. Can I have more info about the SDGs Promotions Center launching? Do you have some more info on that?
Okay. Of course, we are working with GSTC and of course now with Green Destination, but for the tourism industry, they don't know that yet because that's something new. So SDG has been around for a while already, and of course with the Millennium Development Goals were there. So I think the tourism industry, and not really limited to tourism, but also other manufacturing, production services, any industries are now really gearing up with SDGs with the different ministries. So our approach is to ask, what are you doing in order to achieve SDGs in terms of tourism? And a lot of them, they don't know that, or they know what need to be done, but the action they need to be taking is still questionable. So the center is going to aim for all these practitioners, and including the governments and destinations, that which in order to achieve SDGs, we would recommend using GSTC standard and other accredited standards. By doing so, they can make it more transparent and actionable items they can develop. So with the fair and the clearness, the center is going to give practitioners options which would better work for them, and how which, for example, certifying bodies are easier to work with in terms of Japanese, because some standards are already translated into our language and whatnot. So that's the initial stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Masaru. Meanwhile, looking for 1 or 2 more other questions, and I see here one interesting for Luca also, from Nadia de Wolf, asking, have you looked into resilient development instead of sustainable development? as there are different methods and implications that might be more suitable for your goal of removing dependency from tourism.
Yeah, I think that's true. As I said before, we structure a more like holistic project. We are not using just the word sustainable. We're looking for the balance. So we're looking for the resilience of the destination, the community. So it's something, our project touches a lot of different aspects, touches the economic part, the environment part, the sociology part of the people, basically. So it's wider, it's tougher, of course, because sometimes it goes outside the boundary that we are used to work as a DMO. So we're still learning, and again as a DMO, and it's the work that we do every day also with our public municipalities. The politics are really important because the main goal at the end is to build what we call the manifesto. Manifesto is a set of common values that will be the platform for the future development. On that platform, each stakeholder, each municipality, each public company or private company has the responsibility to build new project and a new vision. As a DMO, we could do something. We will take in charge some project, but we can't do everything. So we can lead this transformation, but we can't take charge of everything. So we need the collaboration of the whole community, personally or privately or public or private. So that's more wider project and aspects. So resilience is the key word anyway. And it was even stronger after or during the lockdown, during COVID. That's why we restructured and reframed the project.
Thank you, Luca. And I think we can have one small question for, well, I mean, not a small question, but for Susan from Yilin Del Campo, who's asking about the Philippines. Which aspect in sustainable tourism do you think the Philippines should best focus on that can result in a big positive impact in the least time frame? So the low-hanging fruit, so to speak, what is most efficient and effective in your opinion for Philippines? Susan.
Low-hanging fruit is respect for carrying capacity. That's the low-hanging fruit there. It's a little bit notorious, especially for the natural areas, like ecotourism sites, supposedly, like these whale watching and the canyoneering and these things where hundreds of people go when it's not supposed to be. Well, that's the very first thing, I think. And then also the whole sustainability issues, the solid waste management, the water waste management, those are the primary concerns, especially for destinations wherein it was just overwhelmed by over tourism overnight, like El Nido or Palawan. Coron also has some problems recently, but hopefully it will be controlled back, and they should learn the lessons, in respecting certain number of visitors at a given time and a certain space. So again, carrying capacity is the thing to be, and they should practice, spreading tourism in space and time, different times, different locations, different seasons, all throughout the year. So that is the strategy also, I think.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Susan. I think it's time to wrap up. We will make reports of every session and give the presenters the opportunity to respond to more questions, so we can, in the end, have a good report of this conference, answering all the questions from the audience. Back to you, Pekka.
Thank you, Hugo. I think that I'd like to thank very much the speakers for excellent presentations. I think that you looked at this problem framework from different angles, and I think that created a rich combination on a serious situation and challenges. I personally believe that the future is in dynamic process, and that structural changes will meet our societies. So I think that this type of systematic approach at the national level, as Masaru described for Japan, I think that that could be thought over in most of the countries. As I and my colleagues, we have been working almost 35 years in international development programs and projects, and especially in countries with economies in transition in Asia and former Soviet Union and Europe. So, but I think that definitely developing nations, they have much more complex framework to build or rebuild their societies, including the sustainable tourism. And I definitely believe that what you have concluded, all of you, that we should invest into certification processes to be able to validate that the development we aim at is sustainable. And I made two slides in my presentation, and I hope that the audience and even the speakers have time to have a look on them, because we have also included our views how important it is to link the sustainable tourism development to local and regional development, sustainable development goals. CO2 neutrality plus the SDG targets at different levels. Because if there is different targets for tourism and the local and regional development as a whole, there will be earlier or later conflicts. And then we have problems in meeting any sustainability targets. So I think that
I'm gonna check with the team whether there's time or availability for those slides.
I think that it's not a necessity now, but the main things, my message is that link it with the local and regional sustainable development programs and targets, plus involve with participatory approach what we have also discussed today, the local people, NGOs, SMEs, the societies. Otherwise you don't get commitment for sustainable development or sustainable tourism development, and invest in human resources development, because without knowledge and skills we make the same mistakes decade after decade, and then we don't have so bright future what we would be aiming at. But please have a look from the materials about these thoughts, and we are in Finland, we are very dedicated to cooperate internationally, and definitely I would like to work with all of you also in the future, and but I think that I would like to warmly thank you for your very good presentations. Thank you.
Likewise, thank you all panelists for being with us, and looking forward to seeing you next year in real person again.
Thanks a lot.
So we'll wrap up this session and looking forward to the next session starting in 25 minutes from now on reducing our climate impacts, moderated by Gabriel Minas. For now, we'll be closing off. I think we're going to shut down the GoToWebinar and start it again. So you have to log in again to join the next session. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome to our session on reducing our climate impact. I'm sure that a lot of you have been very excited about joining, particularly also this session, as this is an issue that we're standing against and that tourism also has responsibility in finding creative solutions to solve. So first, just a bit of technicalities. We would love to have your contribution also as attendee. So in case you have any question for this session or a suggestion or something that you want to be elaborated, just please tell us in the question box and our team will do its best in order to make sure that the questions come also to the presenter. And yes, and questions that are not directly related to a presentation will also be taken up to our discussion, which is at the end of this session. So, but first, I want to give the floor to our session host for today. And it's a real honor to introduce you, Gabriel Minas Amaya. I hope I pronounced it also correctly. I've been practicing, but maybe it has not really shown. But you are a business developer for the Anunka Kiva community, and you have done some really interesting community tourism projects that I think are also very relevant in when we look at reducing our climate impact, also from a holistic kind of point of view. So thank you very much for joining us today as the host, and the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Hello, Dicte. Thank you very much to Green Destinations to allow me to share with you today. It's such a pleasure for me to host this meeting today. It's not only because the subject itself is very important, but it is because I'm representing the Anyangu community deep in the Amazon rainforest. So it is a great opportunity for me to share with you a little bit about the deep effort to protect the environment and the Amazon rainforest, which is so important for us. So if it's okay, Dicte, I'd like to share my screen.
Yes, you can just do it in full presentation mode, please.
Awesome, perfect. So thank you very much to everyone for attending today. And well, we're gonna start this very interesting theme, which is reducing our climate impact. So well, first of all, a very short introduction of myself. I'm the marketing and alliances coordinator of the Anyangu Quechua community. The Anyangu people lives in the Amazon rainforest, and one of the most important things or actions they have done to protect the environment is the fact that they have decided to vet for tourism, banning hunting, fishing, and cutting down of trees in their territory. So they look to protect not only nature, but their culture with tourism. They are in Ecuador here, as you can see, just right in the Amazon rainforest. As you know, the Amazon rainforest is that big that it covers many countries like Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, and of course Brazil. So the Anyangu developed two projects, two small touristic projects. The first one is the Napo Wildlife Center, with only 20 cabins, and the other one is an aquacultural center with only 16 cabins. All of them have electricity with solar panels. They have a filtering program to clean the water that comes into the community and the one that goes back to the wetlands, and many other projects, not only to protect the environment, but to protect their presence there in the Amazon rainforest. We have to remember that the best guarantee to protect the rainforest, the lungs of the world, are the presence of the indigenous communities. That's why sometimes some governments with interest in oil or logging, for example, they tend to kick out the local communities, and this touristic project has allowed them to stay there, to develop a healthcare center, to develop a local school, so children can study within their communities, near their families, with their values and their traditions there, helping them to grow. So well, that's as you can see here, this is a little bit of the richness you can find in the Amazon rainforest. Seems very small animals like this turtle named charapa, a giant otters, which is an endangered animal, and then even jaguars. Because the small animals have been growing and developing, now bigger animals like the jaguars or pumas can be seen in the area with more frequency. Okay, so that will be on my part, Dite. So we can start with the first person today. So
hello to you. Hello, Gabriel.
Yeah. So that would be Dahan Mehmet, right?
Yes.
Sorry for the pronunciation. So thank you very much for joining us today, Dahan. And now please feel free to let us know about this very interesting project, which is the Turkish Marine Environment Protection Association.
Okay, thank you, Gabriel. I think you can see my screen now.
We can actually, yes.
Hello to you all, and I want to say happy birthday to Dikte at first. And I'm from Turmepa, called Turmepa, Turkish Marine Environment Protection Association. We are an NGO in Turkey. And who are we actually? We are founded by a businessman, Mr. Rahmi Koç, on April 8, 1994, with the objective of making the protection of our coasts and seas a national priority, actually. Our mission is to contribute to the preservation of seas and coasts as a national priority. This is our main goal, I have to say, and our vision is to become the most effective force behind the implementation and execution of national and national laws and treaties to protection of seas and coasts. I want to talk about the role of NGOs in preventing marine pollution. Having a strong NGO means a lot to the world, I think, and it also engages civil society, businesses, and the public sector can help countries to tackle the issues more successfully. And especially environmental NGOs can play a crucial role in helping to facilitate policy development and more sustainable lifestyles. And what are we doing about it in Turkey? I want to say Turmepa develops and executes trainings in school. We are very strong in the training part of environmental studies, and private institutions initiates advocacy campaigns, create public awareness. This is our also main goal, create public awareness on marine environment protection. This is our main vision, I have to say. We have 6 waste collecting boats. The organization collects black and gray water from private yachts and touristic boats in Mediterranean bays. We have also nearly 9,000 volunteers I want to talk about in this presentation. We have been provided, students have been provided with environmental trainings. 8,330,000 students we have reached so far. And also with those 6 boats, as I said before, 37,800,000 liters of wastewater have prevented to get mixed in the sea. And we have trained 18,500 trainers. We have 9,000 active volunteers actually, and we have reached to 52 million people by TV programs, public service announcement, and billboards. And this is our main projects. Under the auspices of our First Lady, Emine Erdoğan, we have started a new project. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. We have. I'm having an issue right now. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry about that. This project will be carried out by our Ministry of Environment and Urbanization within the scope of the Zero Waste Movement. We have added the blue word to the Zero Waste in Turkey, which was initiated by our First Lady on June 10, 2019, with the cooperation of our NGO. We have also working internationally. We have having funds. For example, this fund we got from the Prince Albert II Foundation, and we have reached to 7,300 students in Muğla on the west coast of Turkey. I just wanted to give an example about it. We are working internationally. These are our liquid waste collection boats and sea sweepers. These are very important for tourism also. We are collecting the grey water from the yachts, and yacht tourism is growing up in Turkey, so we are having a great impact with our boats. And we also, as I mentioned before, we are actually strong on the education part. We have a best exhibition and education atelier on our garden. I will show you our Turmepa house later, and is formed with the wastes that have pulled out from seas, unfolds that people are using seas as a garbage dump, as you know. Thousands of kids who visit underwater waste exhibition, able to see different kinds of garbage, such as plastic bottles, electronic devices, clothes. We have also bicycle in this exhibition, and children easily can see that we are using the seas as a garbage dump. This is the quote we love, actually. This is our, main goal, and the greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it, said Robert Swan, and we are an NGO around this goal. We have also some volunteer activities nationally and internationally, as you see in the pictures. We had an ICC, International Coastal Cleanup Campaign, this year on 19th of September, under precautions of COVID-19, and managed to collect 5,000 kilos of waste from all over the Turkey, all over the coast. And about green destinations, actually, we are meeting on some points, and a lot of points, I think. And if you can check the green destination standards, there are lots of things about our vision and missions. And I only took 2 of them, as you can see here. And working with the NGOs is actually really has a high importance for a green destination, we believe. So I wanted to show that the green destination standards and our vision and mission is actually matches. What we are doing in Turkey, I want to talk about our inspirational things we done in Turkey. Turmepa is the first NGO that brought liquid waste collecting boats to Turkey. Yacht tourism is an important part of Turkey's tourism income, but there were no liquid waste collecting boats before Turmepa. We have provided liquid waste collection services to 3,500 boats and prevented 1.8 million liters of gray and black water. For the last 20 years, Turmepa has collected more than 34 million liters of wastewater. Nowadays, lots of municipalities in Turkey have their own waste collecting boats, and this is the inspiration, as I presumed before. You know, we brought the first boat, and the municipalities have started to have collecting boats, and we have managed to inspire them. We have also giving some lobbying efforts. You know, Gulf of Saros is one of the examples, one of the best examples. We are also there are also more Gulf zone bays that are still in progress to officially declared as a protected area. We are giving a lot of efforts about it, lobbying efforts and follow-ups. So we have managed to protect a lot of gulfs and bays in Turkey. We are also making projects and give them to our Ministry of Environment and Urbanization. We make the idea, we make the way, and we start it and give them to the government or the municipalities to help people. And Blue Card system is one of them. It's a waste collecting project. You have a card and you use the card when you collect, when we collect your gray and black water. And this is actually where amazing happens. I wanted to say, this is our Turmepa house. We are working in here. I'm also now in here. We are actually lucky with that. This is our exhibition, as I mentioned before. We are here in the world, here in Turkey, Istanbul. This is our website if you want to connect with us. And we have also a promise, a zero waste blue promise. We, after our education, students and grown-up people give that promise to us on our website. So we know that they have given that promise to us, and they changed their lifestyles into the Zero Waste Blue project. And I want to thank you all. This was a great opportunity for our little NGO. Thank you to everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Dagan. It's been very, very interesting to hear you. Just one quick question to so we just go straight away to the next question, right?
Okay.
Yes, I think there is one question in case we have time for it. Gabriel, if you think we have time, then I can read it out loud.
Yes, please go ahead with the question.
Great. Okay. Is Turmepa open for the Sustainable Development Goals 17 collaboration to make your 18,400 volunteers also strong in the climate-friendly travel champions to help green and clean transformation of travel and tourism companies and communities?
Absolutely, we are open to. We are always open to sustainable development goals, and we have also education programs in sustainable development goals. And our volunteers actually focusing on the goals focusing on the sustainable development goals. So every opportunity that given to us is we are working with our volunteers.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Dagan. And
welcome.
we are now then introducing the next person. So we are gonna meet now Ayub Salame. who is General Manager at North Island and a luxury collection resort, North Island in Seychelles, and would be sharing us a little bit about tackling waste management on North Island. Please, are you welcome, and we'll listen to you.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. Thank you, Darren, for the beautiful presentation. And now we are moved from Tormiba House to North Island. Yes, I do believe you are based on Tormiba House, but I am already now at North Island. I hope I don't make anyone jealous, and please don't, because I have been in the island since January without going anywhere. So today we will be tackling waste management on North Island and what we do to reduce the carbon footprint. So we have a presentation, a little presentation for today. We are actually the industry leader in the luxury tourism market. Sustainability and conservation are at the heart of our philosophy, proving that luxury tourism with it is not only possible in enhance the experience. Now, the Seychelles consists of 115 islands spread over 1.3 million kilometers in the Indian Ocean. North Island is a small, privately owned island situated within the inner island group of Seychelles. It is 201 hectares in size and situated regularly 29 kilometers from Mahi. North Island understand the rules with the luxury tourism market as a leader in conservation and sustainability efforts, and is committed to lead by example in the global fight to reduce our carbon footprint. With only 11 exclusive villas are situated along East Beach, which with the private pools, butler service, and private beach access. Due to our limited numbers of villas, we have low numbers of guests on the island at any time. This not only enhances the feeling of exclusivity and luxury, but also reduces the footprint of our operations on the island. We carefully monitor each aspect of our operations to ensure we are conducting ourselves to the highest standard of service and sustainability, while minimizing our impact on the environment. Waste production and management has become an issue of global concern. The world coral reef play a pivotal role in regulating ocean process, and the abundance of plastic waste within this system is threatening the existence of all ocean species. Now we have 8 million metrics, with 8 million metric tons of plastic is dumped into the sea every year. By 2050, it is estimated that the cumulative weight of plastic in the sea will outweigh all the ocean fish. So it's time for everybody to take a strong measure and start the waste management program. Waste management on North Island. Deepak.
So my name is Deepak. I'm the director of food and beverage here with North Island. Waste management is a large challenge, especially when you consider the location. It's a small isolated island, and so the efficiency of the recycling channels is a bit challenging. Even though North Island is small, it's only 2.1 square kilometer within the Seychelles. We have become glaringly aware of threats posed by the ocean pollution, because that's what we are surrounded with. We can see plastic debris coming and floating on the shores. So the awareness of the problem, not only from the aesthetic point of view, but also the methods of tackling the waste management is the key priority for us. When we look at the waste management on North Island, North Island has strived to minimize our impact on the environment, And in line with this, the island is committed to reducing the waste production and ensuring that the waste production on the island is dealt in a responsible manner, utilizing every recycling opportunity, every recycling mechanism within our reach. Of course, looking at the location, looking at the logistics of it, sometimes it can be challenging, but also it gives us more control because it's a closed environment, it's a closed circuit, so it gives us more control over what we can do in terms of recycling, because there's not many external factors impacting our processes. Over the past decade, since actually 2009, we have developed waste management protocols to address the issue of production, accumulation, and the disposal of the waste on North Island. So the first step of analyzing North Island's role in regards to waste management was to fully understand what waste are we producing on the island, and secondly, how to deal with that waste responsibly. So leading into that, we come up with the questions. So what is the waste? When we understand what waste are we producing, what waste can we entirely avoid? And on the waste production on the island, what can be dealt effectively on the island, and what can be recycled and sent back to Mahe or sent back to with the government programs. I'll let our GM talk about what initiative we have taken.
To start with the things that we can actually completely eliminate, obviously, we had the initiative of the glass water bottling plant, which we have it on the island. We produce our own water, and as you see in the pictures in the presentation, we have all our water bottles in a glass bottle. We also offer the glass straws, and those glass straws are part of the amenity as a gift for our guests. It's also for them to take away, and again, to enhance the knowledge of taking care of our environment. And whenever guests go for a hike, we also do have bottles that are for North Island. So those are completely avoided, no plastic on the island. In terms of green waste production in the kitchen, they dealt with it on the island within a compost machine. We have as well as the incinerator. We recycle waste which can effectively be dealt with, like tin cans. We have the PET plastics, scrap metals. We have the beer bottles recycled, which we send back to Seychelles Brewing. We have the glass bottles and glass bottles of the beers. We also send them to the company where we buy them from for them to recycle or reuse. We do have the bin stations, which is also a big support for us. A bin station, a waste removal team that are dedicated team, as well as a weekly program that we take initiative to improve everyone attendees and responsibility and better understanding. We have the waste storage side in general and hazardous waste, incinerator and glass crusher, where we burn waste and we crush all the glasses that we can, plus massive training for associates, over 120 hours a month. In the last few months, we have done also a lot of trainings. This is the polyard where we actually do our recycle. As you can see, there's the cans and there's a glass crusher, so the dedicated team who's burning. Just to be more polite and to also emphasize the segregation of garbage. Smile for camera. There's actually no camera in there. Just psychologically, everybody afraid and worried that if they don't segregate their garbage, they'll be in trouble. And, plus, now there is less garbage around the island because they are the one who have to clean. And it's a very nice program, very nice initiative taken by the Director of Learning Development in terms of put activity together for beach patrolling and for island cleaning. We have the solution to effectively manage waste with, again, the bin waste and the waste removal team. Training is a key at all time. This is the initiative I just mentioned earlier, where we all get together, go around, clean the island, clean even the village, do village inspections, clean the garbage stations, and as you can see, also the training room with the training with our dedicated environment team. And everybody seems within the culture. We have created this culture way long ago. However, in the last 1 year, this was very much our culture and what we aim to do. Yeah.
So the key lessons learned from this, the recycling program or the waste management program is understanding the problem and the limitations of waste management on the island. Of course, logistics play a big role when you are on an isolated island. So we have a dedicated area for waste separation and isolation. Ensuring the mechanics you choose are practical and self-explanatory. I mean, it needs to be easily understandable. Every associate or everyone on the island should be able to separate. It comes with the labels or bin labels or just identifying the places where to store what garbage. Again, going back to the trainings, it's more to do with education rather than enforced trainings, and utilizing old recycled channels in Seychelles. So as Ayub mentioned, sending back the beer bottles to the companies and the money coming back, it's 30 cents a bottle, and that goes back to the tip pool, so that entices the associates to separate it and look after the process more. And then, of course, the active support from the management and from the ownership side, and their continuous belief in environment and sustainability is the key. Again, waste separation, whether in a workplace or home, as we say, it needs to be very simple task. Through improved training programs, awareness, raising initiative, we have been able to demonstrate that each individual, both guests and associates, can play a role in reducing, reusing, and recycling waste. In this line, it has been very clear that small change can have a big impact in how in the long run, that the responsibility for protecting our oceans and all the diversity can be shared by all of us. All right, so thank you very much.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. I know we have some questions for you, so if Victor, you can help us with those questions.
Yes, of course. Yeah, thank you for this interesting presentation. And we also received some questions, which seems like you also really engaged the audience here. Metea Dulson asks, how do you deal with the plastic waste that the ocean brings to the coast from other countries? And then, yeah, okay, please go ahead and answer now.
Okay, so we have daily beach patrolling team as well as a voluntary program where we have each day 4 volunteers comes from around the world with the support of Green Destination on Seychelles. All the plastics is collected from the beach and go again to the polyard where we segregate our garbage.
Thank you. Then we also have a question from Masaru, who was also a presenter at the previous session. So nice to also have presenters on board here. How do you control hard to recycle wastes, including the ones that guests bring and leave, for example, batteries? Also, Masaru says, I see Corona beers that contain more embodied energy. Can you also recommend guests to choose local beers over others that travel so far?
Yes, as far as the hard to recycle materials, especially the batteries and the harsh chemicals in them, we separate them, we segregate them differently, and then they are all sent back to Mahe and then shipped back to by the government support, shipped back to the countries where they have the tools to actually not recycle them, but just dismantle them. And then as far as the beer, local beers are concerned, we try to promote local products, especially we have a beer called Cebu in Seychelles. But again, as a business, as an identity, we can only suggest as far as that's possible. I mean, we can't really force the guests to drink whatever they like, but we try to enforce.
It's the highest consumption.
We try to suggest what we can locally.
And we actually put the only local beer on the minibar in the villas.
Yes.
And when the guest requests, we attend to that. But either way, even if the guest will drink international beers, those beer bottles go to the crushers. But we obviously rather enhance and the local beer consumption because that's an easy.
And also, we are looking into having it change with draft beers, to be honest with you. So that way, we have less bottle waste or less glass waste and stuff like that.
All right, guys, thank you very much. It's been very, very interesting. I myself have some questions too, but well, we'll keep them to the end of the presentation. And well, we are gonna thank you very much, guys, and we're gonna welcome now to Rine Rander, who is a marketing manager of Visit Saaremaa TMO, expert from Saaremaa, Estonia, and who is going to talk us about a case study of Saaremaa. Thank you very much, and please go ahead, Rine.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can see the presentation.
Yes, we can.
Okay, hello. My name is Rine Rander, and I'm from Saaremaa, Estonia, and I'm working at Visit Saaremaa. And today I'm going to tell you about the innovation in the Baltic Sea and Estonia's first hybrid ferry. And this is our one step closer to reducing our climate impacts. So here you can see where Saaremaa, Estonia is located. It's in the north of Europe, and Estonia is one of the Baltic countries, and our neighbor countries are Latvia, Finland, and Russia. So Saaremaa is the second biggest island in the Baltic Sea and the biggest island of Estonia. So next to Saaremaa is a smaller island called Muhu. And the Saaremaa and Muhu Islands are connected with a causeway. And in Muhu is located a harbor which connects the islands with the mainland. And ferry connection is one of the main connections for the islanders. So some information about Saaremaa and Muhu. The population here is about 33,000 people. And the area is just under 3,000 square kilometers. We have 4 seasons, so we have spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And this means that during the winter, we have -degrees, ice, and snow most of the time. Saaremaa and Muhu Islands' nature is quite unique. We are known for clean air, rich history, and friendly islanders. And also Saaremaa with other West Estonia islands are part of the UNESCO Biosphere Program area, Man and Biosphere. And this means that islanders have lived in harmony with nature for centuries now. And the Saaremaa and Muhu Islands have also many areas that are part of the Natura 2000 areas. Also Kuivastu, which is the village where the ferry harbor is located, is part of the Natura 2000 area. And because of the protected areas and unique nature for the ferry company, it was very important to take steps towards climate-friendly solutions. And the current ferry company has been operating since 2016, and they also built new ships for that. And now, currently, the one ship has been reconstructed into a hybrid ferry. Estonian Ministry of Economy and Infrastructure, Taavi Aas, has said that ambitious climate targets are accelerating the transition to cleaner technologies and solutions. In Estonia, the entire transportation sector is moving towards achieving the climate goals. And TS Laevad, the ferry operator, has paid increased attention to improve environmental friendliness over the past years. And for several years now, they have been working to completely eliminate the use of fossil fuel on the ferries in the Väinameri Sea. And the goal is to reach zero emission rate. Here in the picture, you can see the ferry Tõll that started to operate as a hybrid ferry this September. And this is the first hybrid passenger vessel. It is a development benchmark for all ferry shipping in Estonia. There are two ferries running between the mainland and the islands, or the biggest island of Estonia, Saaremaa and Muhu Islands. And the departure is about 27 minutes. And in summertime, we have around 30 departures one way per day during high season. And during the low season, we have around 16 departures one way per day. And last year, TS Laevad served 1.77 million passengers on their ferries that operated between the Muhu and the mainland. And the numbers have been increased about 4% each year. You can see the comparison between 2019 and 2020. And this year, the numbers in ferry traffic dropped because of the COVID-19. And from mid-March until May, the Estonian islands were actually closed, and only people who had special licenses from the police and border guard were able to move between the islands and the mainland. And this summer, the passenger numbers were slightly lower than last year. However, the numbers of vehicles were crossed over were actually slightly higher than last summer. So you may ask why TS Laevad chose the hybrid solution for the ferries. They say that the technology of the batteries of hybrid ferry has been proved the best in other countries and also in Nordic countries such as Norway. And this technology copes the best with Nordic climates such as icy water and -degrees. Here in the picture, you can actually see the batteries or power banks of the ferry. And you might ask, how much did it cost? So actually, it was 1.6 million investment. And this all came from TS Laevad. So there was actually no state contribution. And what comes out from that investment is that now about 20% less fossil fuels are used for one voyage. And then this also lowers the emission rates by 1,600 tons as well. And what else? It also reduces the underwater noise and vibrations, and this way this improves conditions for seals, fishes and other sea creatures that live in Väinameri Sea, and this also helps to preserve biodiversity. And why this hybrid solution is so good is that this batteries are charged on the ferry when the ferry engines are working. So it's a smart technology that doesn't require charging batteries on the embankment. And as already said, this way 20% less diesel fuel is used, and also CO2 emission rates will be reduced as well. And another aspect is that the batteries, Corvus energy batteries that were used, are in a big part reusable. So if there is a need to make new batteries, they can use old ones. So what next? We will see what the upcoming winters are bringing. We can see that the ferries itself, since 2016, have proved well itself, and also during the winter conditions. And now we will see how the batteries will work in winter when the sea is frozen, and how batteries are working in this hard conditions for navigation. And also Estonia is also moving towards Europe's climate neutral goals by 2050. And for the ferry company, it is very important to reach zero emission rate. And if this current solution proves itself, then other ferries of the company will be reconstructed as well. And the goal is to use 100% electricity as a power. But when batteries will use more than 20% of electricity, as what they are doing now, then it is necessary to start charging from the embankment. And this means that the charging has to be really fast, within 6 to 7 minutes. And technically, this is possible. And for that could be used energy that is produced at Virtsu, where the harbor is located. And we can then say that the vessels again will be powered by a wind and would be like sailboats used to, but in a more modern way. And what is the innovation part? TS Laud, or TS Ferries, was the first company in Estonia to use the diesel electric hybrid solution on a ferry that runs with frequent daily departures and maneuvers, including in the winter months in sub-zero temperatures. Previously, the battery technology anywhere in the world has not been used on such a large passenger ferry operating in such ice conditions in winter. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I hope to see you soon in Saaremaa, Estonia. And Saaremaa was also listed as one top 100 destination this year. My name is Rina, and you can visit Saaremaa stories online. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rina. It's been very, very interesting. Actually, this theme and all the effort that you have been doing there with the ferries. I find it myself as a very new an alternative thing. So we have some questions, but we have popped them to the end, and we're gonna continue to the next presenter. Thank you very much, Rina.
Thank you.
So our next presenter is Beth Thornton, is Executive Director of Alberta Southwest Regional Economic Development Alliance in Alberta, Canada. And we're gonna learn today about partnerships, innovations, and green economy reducing climate impact. So welcome, Beth, and thank you very much for joining us today. Sorry, Beth, I think your microphone is off.
There's a good part of the puzzle.
There it is. Thank you, Beth.
Good morning. I'm enjoying the presentations, and it's a pleasure to have the opportunity to speak with you all. I'm Beth Thornton, the Executive Director of Alberta Southwest Regional Economic Development Alliance. We are a partnership of 15 rural communities that have been working together for about 20 years to create economic opportunities in the region. We are connected to our landscapes. Our economy is built on agriculture, excuse me, energy, and our visitor economy. Alberta is known for its oil and gas industry, which sometimes overshadows that in the south part of the province, we have tremendous renewable resources. Our prevailing westerly winds have established us as the birthplace of the wind industry in Canada. The first commercial wind farm was built here in 1993, and we are one of those little places in Canada that gets more hours of sunshine than anywhere else. We also, the map shows us we are in the western part of the North American continent, right near the border between Alberta and British Columbia. And an interesting hydrological feature is that the streams eventually feed 3 oceans. The First Nations called this the backbone of the world, the Rocky Mountains that stretch down the west side of the continent. In our region, Alberta Southwest crown of the continent is a large transboundary region that covers a piece of Alberta, British Columbia, and Montana. In our region, we have 3 UNESCO World Heritage Sites within 2 hours of each other. Waterton is a biosphere reserve, and recently Waterton Glacier International Peace Park has been named a provisional dark sky park. So I mention this because what this reflects is many decades of people caring about the landscape and figuring out how we live and develop our communities in harmony with the landscape. In 2006, National Geographic recognized the Crown of the Continent as a significant geotourism region. Thus began a partnership working with them to promote the idea of geo-travelers, those who come to enjoy and experience the special, unique character of a place. So working together with our partners in British Columbia, Alberta, and Montana, we have created a further partnership to promote that attitude toward our business development. We are described as where the prairies meet the Rocky Mountains. We're enjoying our outdoor recreation, our charming communities, our back roads, and historic sites is best experienced by private vehicle. This is the region for the self-directed traveler. So, building upon our natural attributes, we asked ourselves, how do we create new visitor experiences that are consistent with our regional strengths and the values of our communities, and yet still think ahead for the future? So we thought about an electric vehicle charging station network. Our colleagues in Southeast British Columbia had successfully begun deploying a network of charging stations, and it seemed very sensible to just continue that into our region. So we worked with them to figure out how we could do this. And of course, some of our goals were to create new visitor experiences. If any of you have driven an electric vehicle, they're really pretty fun. We wanted to attract the early adopters and new travelers to the region, and continue to link all of the transboundary parts of our Crown of the Continent. So, where to start? Just a note about the technology. It seemed very simple at first, but then when we got into it, we found we had a lot to learn. In general, there are 3 levels of charging. Level 1 would be the plug-in that you have at home. So you have your car in your plugged in overnight, it trickle charges and is ready to go in the morning. The level 2 charger is a slow and steady charge. This is where you may plug in at a public facility for an hour or 2 while you're at a meeting or while you go shopping or go for lunch, but you stop, do something, and then you carry on. The high capacity fast charging, that's where you pull up and in less than half an hour, you're topped up and ready to carry on. So we had to think about what kind of installation to put where. Partnerships are essential to a project like this. As we talked about it, as we learned more about it, people got more and more excited. So in the end, we had a partnership of 40 rural communities, 3 large cities. We involved energy and supply industries, post-secondary education institutions, and all of our levels of government, local government, provincial government, and federal government. So where do we put the stations? Modeling and designing the system was much more complicated than imagined. Many factors affect power consumption, and when you're in an electric vehicle and you don't know where the next place is to charge up, you become very conscious of how you're using energy. It will be affected by terrain. Are you going uphill or downhill? It'll be affected by weather. Is it hot? Is it cold? Are you driving with the wind, against the wind? How many people do you have in the car? How much baggage are you carrying? So when charging stations are not readily available, this results in something called range anxiety. And we wanted to alleviate that. So what other factors went into choosing sites? Well, yes, there is certainly an environmental impact to this, but this is very early stages in adoption of this technology. So at this point, we were looking at it as a traveler amenity. So we considered what would be of best benefit to the traveler and best benefit to the community. Of course, the site had to be accessible. It had to be highly visible, but also within walking distance of some activity that, that the travelers could participate in. We needed dedicated parking, we needed available power, and we looked at land owned. There had to be agreements for land use and so on. So we tended to put the installations on municipally owned land, as that was a more stable kind of arrangement. The plan and process ended up being over 4 years of work, and we did workshops in the communities, we learned about the technology and worked toward creating a shared vision. We selected sites, defined the details, and then it was, where do we find the resources to make this happen? Because this was not an inexpensive project. We worked with our large cities to solicit agreements from power companies, power suppliers, construction people, and then create the owner-operator agreements. One of the things in our plan is that the owner-operator of the network commit to a 10-year stretch of time to allow this to reach its potential, I guess. So the results are our Peaks to Prairies electric vehicle charging station network. And we began the ribbon cuttings on these installations last fall. And then of course, those have been interrupted by the virus. But interestingly, we do see the start of some ongoing benefits. It ended up being a $2.16 million project that's Canadian dollars that connects 1,400 kilometers of highway. And at the end of 2019, we had seen a 27% increase in usage. And you'll see that little number down below. Second quarter, we're down 37%, but that's not surprising because there just isn't as much travel happening. The other interesting thing is that we can measure energy consumed by the network, how many liters of gasoline can be avoided, and the number of unique drivers, interestingly, has increased. It's going to, because the network is networked, we can have all these measures so that we can monitor what's happening with it and the impacts that it is having. As with any innovation, there also becomes some cultural and social behaviors that go along with it. So when you are at an electric vehicle charging station, move along. Don't take more time than what you need. If you go off exploring, keep an eye on your watch. Leave the place tidy, at least as nicely or better as when you found it. And no icing. It is never acceptable for an internal combustion engine to park in a spot designated for an electric vehicle. Just a piece of etiquette. So what have we learned? Partnerships, innovation, and a green economy. Partnerships are essential. We have one of our community leaders who likes to say, all of us are smarter than just one of us. Innovation can happen when you are within a trusted collaboration. Fortunately, we do not have community leaders who say, oh, we tried that, it won't work. We're looking ahead, we're trying things out, we're problem solving. And what gets measured gets managed. It is really important to do our research, to have as much information as we can, always understanding that we're on the leading edge of things and there are things we don't know. So we have to be prepared for when something doesn't work out, have another plan and carry on with it as quickly as you can. Success comes from building on existing strengths. And I really like this quote that the difficulty lies not so much in developing new ideas as much as escaping from the old ones. Thank you for enjoying this project with me, and we look forward to when you can visit our beautiful region.
Thank you very much, Bev. It's been very, very interesting, actually. And well, I know I have, we have one question for you. If Dick, please, can you help us with the question?
Yes. This is actually, to be honest, it's my own question. So yeah, bear with me. So Bill, you had quote, the difficulty lies not so much in developing new ideas as much as escaping from old ones. And I think this is such a well put quote, especially because it encapsulates Alberta as a region, because it's moving away from its car industry. Or is it? That's the question I would like to point into. Because isn't there a chance that by exchanging the old car industry or the old way of driving through the backbone, as you say, of the world with an electric vehicle, that we will not develop new ways of seeing tourism or of engaging in nature, but still continuing the way we're doing it now, just in a perhaps climate-friendly way. But do you see what I mean? Is there a change in discourse?
No, I don't think so. And I think it's because the nature of our region, we do not have mass transportation. We are great distances between our communities and so on. So I don't know how else you would get around if you weren't driving your own vehicle. It is a rural area. And I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Yeah, I'm just thinking more in terms of like when the way that we interact with nature, like if there would be, I know that the Rockies are like huge and you would have to drive there, but is there another way of like engaging or, you know, maybe do like, you know, encouraging for different kind of vehicles or different kind of pace of tourism? Because now I feel like the world is open for us to play around and simply like play around and see what we can do with these new frames, right?
Yes, well, I think in answer to your question, I think in talking about this project in a few minutes, you need to see the rest of the region. So check out the websites. There is hiking, fishing, canoeing. There is tremendous interaction with our outdoor landscapes. When you get where you're going, you get out of your car and then you are in nature. The bears will walk across the golf course. There are deer outside your window. Nature interacts with us.
Great answer. Thank you. Gabriel, if it's okay with you, we still have a question, another question to ask. Muted.
Sorry about that. So yes, Dicte, of course. Please, let's continue with the questions.
Okay, thank you. So Laura Higgins also asked a question for you, Bill. I would love to hear examples of community branding at stations.
I'm sorry, what was that now?
She says, I would love to hear examples of community branding at the stations.
Oh, okay. That was an important part of it, that each community decided where it would like to locate its site, and usually it was near some kind of an attraction that they felt was important. So this is a very new project, so this is exactly what we're working on now. So I will be sending you a lot of information. We're doing some videos, some print ads, and working now, our next step is to do the branding on this initiative. And each community will be able to uniquely individualize itself within that program. So stay tuned, maybe we'll show you next year what we've done on that front.
Great, thank you. Gabriel, I think we can move on and see if we can, there's still more questions, but we can see if we have time then for the discussion round now.
Yes, of course. Just to finish with all discussions, I want to, or say with all presentations, I want to thank Bev for her amazing presentation. And I want to say some things, and then I'll invite everyone back so we can have the questions. The questions we have to ask them all. So, well, we have heard these amazing projects that have been deeply working to make tourism industry friendly to our environment. So we know and we've learned that it is possible to have a touristic development that minimize our impact. These have been not only good examples, but innovative proposals to have a control of what we actually do. We must realize we have only one world. So cleaning seawater, managing waste on a small island, transporting people with using alternative energy, or developing local alliances to find alternatives and solutions to the impact we do to our land are just huge steps to improve, as we realize that nature is not there for our usage, but that we are part of it. And I want to emphasize this last part because indigenous people all around the continent in America have developed what is called the sumac cow side. Well, they haven't developed, it's there from their way of living actually. And sumac cow side is changing from an individual goal, from an individual objective to a community one. So the core part of the summa causa is thinking in human beings not as to dominate nature, but as part of a whole. So when we protect different species of flora and fauna and mountains, lakes, rivers, oceans, we are not protecting just one thing. We are protecting the life of every human being and the life of everyone and everything on Earth. And that's how we have to move forward in order to have a good living and to respect everyone's lives. So if it's okay with you, Dicte, I'd like to invite back all presenters, and then we can start with some questions we have for them, and then we can start the discussion section.
Yes, thank you very much for these beautiful remarks. I have a question, unless you already have an order, then I have some questions for Rina. So we can maybe take one of
Yes, of course, please go ahead, Dicte, and we can start with questions for Rina.
Right, perfect. Good to see you again, Rina. Albert from GD is asking, what opportunities do you see for the battery technology in other countries and situations?
I think that it is possible because in Estonia example, we also took this from Norway, and at the moment, because it's more like icy conditions are quite harsh ones. So we are now the first ones to try how this technology works with during the winter time with -degrees and when the sea is frozen, so the ferry has to go through the ice. So I think because I said this is like this 27 minutes is like kind of longest journey that this kind of solution has been tried on. I think it is possible to other countries as well to implement this. It is an investment, but I think it is a good investment because we can already see that how much fossil fuels, how much less fossil fuels we have to, we can reduce. And also if it helps to like make a better living condition for sea creatures and so on. I think it's really important, and I hope that from Saaremaa or Estonian's example, that other countries will also implement this because yeah, it's possible. If it's possible in the Nordic countries, I think it's also possible in other parts or in a warmer climate as well.
Excellent, thank you very much, Rene. Now I have one question for Dagan. And Dagan, how important have been the involvement and the support of local government to develop this project? Do you think that you would be able to develop it without the assistance or say the help of the local government?
It is actually possible. Absolutely, we have volunteers. Volunteers doesn't need any government or any law to act, you know. And if you create an awareness, you can start by yourself. You know, as I mentioned in my presentation, I shared a quote by Robert Swan, if you remember. You don't have to wait for another person or government or any NGO to act for the world. You know, you can do yourself. We have all healthy minds and we have a healthy body. So we can create projects, we can make awareness, you know, and we can act by ourselves. So for an NGO, if you connect with your government, if you can cooperate with your government, you can easily make your projects to happen. You know, it makes you give less efforts to realize your dreams. But if you consider yourself as a person, you can always do something. We actually don't need 500 people do 500 amazing things. We need 5 billion people do one great thing. You know, it makes 5 billion great things. So we don't actually need anyone to assist or associate with, but for NGOs or you know, cooperation, for NGOs or some companies, if you can work with your government, it makes it easier. There's only that difference.
Thank you very much. Now, Dicte, you have another question for it was for Dagan or for someone else?
I was thinking, yeah, about to get a question also for our North Island representatives. So there is a question from Carl Keita that if the waste management effort is more made by the staff, or if the guests are also involved, like whether they are also a part of this educational track that's that this process that you are in becoming more sustainable.
Actually, guests take a big part of this. We do mention that in our arrival letters. We do invite the guests for weekly presentation that is done by our environment team. Very nice, comprehensive presentations with knowledge. And that's the reason also I mentioned regarding the gift, which is the glass straw, to enhance the knowledge. And this is something they can take also with them back home. During the last guest in house, which was in April, we have seen guests actually participating on beach patrol and marine cleaning and island cleaning itself. So the associates also encourage the guests to join. We do have a program which we call it Run to Give. We invite the guests to run with us for some miles or hike on the hill, and then after that followed by island cleanings, followed by a barbecue. So it's something really nice to see that everybody is willing to assist, and everybody is happy to know more. And the guests take it very positive because, and that also make them come back, and they take it very positive because North Island is rare. It's very rare, and when they see how much we take care of the island aspects in terms of sustainability, they're very happy to join us.
Yeah, also, I would like to add it because of the fact that the guests, we invite the guests for the presentations, we invite the guests for the knowledge and stuff like that, and the guests we have, they're influentials, they're big, they have massive influence on their communities, they have massive influence on their businesses, and even if they can take one tiny process or one tiny bit of knowledge and pass on to their companies and pass on to their associates or their workers, you know, it tries to create that chain of just general awareness of what is impacting the marine life, or what is impacting the environment, and especially waste management, plastic, we always talk about. So again, it's of course they are part of the whole project, they're part of the whole conversation.
We are even expecting a visit. We were expecting the visit this year, but due to COVID has been pushed to 2021 of Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio have done a lot in Seychelles together with the Minister of Environment, and we have taken the initiative to involve the government with our program of sustainability by also inviting Leonardo DiCaprio, which we have done. Unfortunately, that is moved for next year.
And I have a question for you guys. What are you thinking, or say, what kind of plans can a resort like yours developed in order to reduce the impact of the waste. You know, now with the coronavirus, all the face masks and all things that have to be kept on a special way, so they don't not only contaminate, but they don't also like disseminate the virus itself. So which plans would you be doing in order to reduce this impact too?
So we have already started, as you mentioned, the biohazard waste. I mean, they are especially with the viruses and bacteria and stuff like that. So we already started working with the government, and they have the guidelines how to properly dispose of these PPE, and also working with the taking the guidelines from the Marriott itself. To dispose of and special packaging in closed containers and stuff like that. And we actually have implemented a I mean, in the separation area, we have within that we have a separate area for all the PPE, and the team which is separating it is properly protected as well. Again, it comes with the responsibility. Of course, we all use PPE gloves or masks and stuff, but it also comes with the responsibility to separate properly, and it's also sent back in closed containers back to Mahe, and then there's special companies which they dispose of or burn them, incinerate them accordingly. Again, we do not incinerate, we do not burn any protective equipment in our own incinerators, or with the sort of in the proximity of the associates. So it's all very well taken care of.
And the mask is a linen mask, and it's part of the uniform, as well as it's an amenity gift for our guests.
Okay, thank you guys. So now, DK, do you have more? There are more questions, I believe. If you can just let us know, please.
Yes, I have a question also for Rina, and that is from Muhammad Ahmad. If you use the battery, will it generate a secondary pollution? And in that case, how to solve that?
Sorry, I didn't get you, Victor. Could you please?
Yes, oh, it's for Rina. So we try to make sure that everyone gets some time to talk.
So is it gonna make more pollution? I would say no, because this technology, it has been really investigated, because the ferry company here, they really want to give their input for the nature, and also when producing those batteries, they can use old batteries to make new ones. So actually these are reusable. So much that could be used will be used to make those batteries, and also because otherwise we have to still like mine to get the like fossil fuels, and this is something this is not it's not an endless resource. So we have to start using how to use more solar power and wind power and so on, so to have those sustainable choices. And for that you have to still, like, for example, do something like making new batteries.
Thank you, Rina. I have a question for you too. Have you guys received like someone or probably an international organization or some other project help or assistance to develop a similar idea? And if you were like, if you have the chance to share the knowledge you have developed now, or if in terms of the company's organization, it would be a little bit harder to do.
Yes, I think that with this technology, the ferry company TS Loud, I think they would be really happy to share their experiences, and especially now they are saying that their goal is to get like close to zero emission rate by 2030. I think it's quite ambitious plan, but now they want to first study and know more into the results, how effective are those. So I think in a few years they are more than happy to share their experience and to spread the word about that. So the world would go towards zero emission rates.
Thank you, Rene. So Dikte, now I think we have more questions too, right?
Yes.
We can please put them.
Yeah, thank you, Gabriel. Lena, just as a short comment, Laura Higgins is also saying from the audience that if these ferries actually do work very well in freezing temperatures, she would propose such a ferry in the city of Toronto. So maybe we are right now witnessing, one example becoming an international example for the most of us. So that is great to see.
Yeah, it's if somebody has more questions, because I can then give you the context of the company who is operating here, and I think they are more than happy to share their practices so far.
Please do, please do. Okay, so Gabriel, we also have a question for Bill from Alberta region. If Bill are with us still, so there is a question from the audience, Fiona Jeffrey, who asked, how do you make sure that all the electric vehicles points are kept working? How are they fixed if damaged?
That actually speaks to the very newness of this technology. Those are some next steps. This is very new, particularly in Alberta, where we are an oil and gas province. So the next thing is to be talking to car dealers and service shops and saying, look, as people drive more of these kinds of vehicles, you need to be prepared to do that. So I guess just know that we're at the very start of this. Right now, we can market our region as an innovative place where we are early adopting this technology, but we also see that there are a lot of opportunities that will come along with it. So we have nowhere here you can get that fixed yet. Got to go to the big city for that one.
Thank you, Bev. And I have one question for you too. In these partnerships, the rural communities, how much they have been involved, and if they have had like a good acceptance of this new technology.
Yes, as I mentioned at the start, our Regional Economic Development Alliance has been working together for about 20 years. We have 15 communities. The population ranges from 200 or 300 people to about 5,600 people is the largest one. So the total area in Alberta that we're talking about has a population of about 35,000 people. So they have figured out over the years that we are, although we're distances apart, when there's something of benefit for one community, it really does spill over and benefit all of us. So we've had demonstrated successes over the years. So this was very much everybody involved in the project.
And one last thing, in terms of cost, has it been like widespread, the idea, or different ideas, or not that much in terms of capacity of people to get the new technology?
so are you talking about the adoption rate? Are you
Exactly.
thinking?
Exactly.
Pardon me, sorry, lost you there.
Yes, it's in terms of the adoption rate.
Yes, and I think we don't expect that it's going to be really fast, but when you look at what car manufacturers are doing, for example, Ford is looking at creating an electric version of the F-150, which is a truck, which is what a lot of people drive in our regions. We're talking about electric vehicle passenger buses. So bit by bit, it will come. And you know how acceleration works. It's very slow at first, and then it picks up. So, but nothing happens if you don't do anything about it. So we started.
Okay, Beth, thank you very much. And well, because of timing, because myself, I do have some more questions and things to interact, but well, because of the timing, we have to wrap up now and finish. I want to thank to all presenters and to everyone in the audience for coming today. We have some questions there too. Well, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some other time to solve them, and just by follow the projects here, I'm pretty sure we can answer some doubts. And well, if Dicte, you would like to say something before finishing?
Yes, thank you. Also from behalf of Green Destinations, we just want to thank you also for the second day of the conference, which consisted of so many interesting thoughts and inputs, and I feel really inspired to go this new path, and I'm sure that we will thrive in the future. Thank you for everyone who joined.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, guys, and we hope to see you to catch up some other time soon then.